In attention to every hair, ensuring that the beard is trimmed to perfection. No trace of hair is left except exactly where it should be. The hairline is trimmed to perfection to give a sharp, neat cut. As you can see, special attention has been paid to detail because the cut is now a square tapering cut and it looks very neat, very classy and very well groomed. And we are now waiting for him to have a facial scrub to remove his dead skin. Next treatment, which is a very important part of self-care, is scrubbing the face. Men, remember your skin matters. You need to look nice, you need to look polished. And we're going to have his skin polished by Carol. This process is called exfoliation or removal of the dead skin. Everybody's skin has a build-up and it needs to be removed frequently. This helps to keep the skin clear, fresh, and most important, it works to providing a solution to ingrown beard hair, which a lot of men suffer from. So always have a facial scrubbing done at your next trip to the barber shop, or you can do it yourself at home as part of your self-care. It is then washed off carefully with special attention being paid to the eye area and the nose where there's usually an accumulation of dead skin. Moisturizer is very important to lock in much needed moisture. Most men tend to neglect this part of skincare and this leads to them having dry skin. With a perfect haircut, polished skin and good shoes, anyone can be a perfect gentleman. This has been Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge.
Unazungumza nini na maadui zetu wewe?
Ndio nipige kibao. Wajua nilikuwa niko karibu tu kupatana na Leo.
Yeye nifuatafuata na isiyo kunimaliza kabisa.
Watoto dadangu hata sijui kama ni wake.
Umaanisha nini?
Huoni kwamba wakati umefika wa kuungana na mimi?
Umemwambia nini babako ulipoongea naye?
Nothing.
Ana?
Piki inaendelea hapa.
Haijalishi kinachoendelea.
All holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority on or before November 1st, 2021. It is now easier to report and surrender. Visit www.holders.ufaa.go.ke and get started. Beat the November 1st, 2021 deadline. It's your turn. Pass the baton. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority.
Well, hello. Last week was a very tough one for us here at KBC, but it's a new week. Good evening and a happy work-life balance day. Welcome to KBC Prime Edition.
Tonight we have a comprehensive coverage of the day's events as they occurred here in the country and around the world, and Karen Kibet will be bringing you the latest sports news later on. Tell us where you tuned in from. Feel free to weigh in on our content tonight at KBC Channel 1 News, at Purity_Museo, at Mboya24, the hashtag Prime Edition.
Get on the phone. Talk on this live broadcast.
Hata kama tungesema rais umejaribu, tulikuomba askari ukatupea, tukakuomba barabara ukatupea, lakini hawa watu walikuja hapa, kazi yao ni nini?
Tension high in Laikipia as bandits kill 3 more people.
Ministry of Petroleum have questions to answer, and the corruption cartel in the Ministry of Energy must be broken.
Fuel cartels are fleecing Kenyans, says Deputy President William Ruto, and directs Minister of Petroleum to take action.
IBC falls short of voter registration weekly target, citing voter apathy and lack of ID cards.
A very, very warm welcome to the broadcast. I'm Purity Museo. Susan Thuku is our sign language interpreter tonight.
And my name is Mboya. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin with our top story. And fear and uncertainty has engulfed Village 18 in Laikipia West after 3 men were shot dead and another was seriously wounded in a banditry attack Sunday in the afternoon. The bandits also made away with 32 herds of cattle in a daring incident that is instilling fear among residents who now blame authorities for not doing enough to secure the region. Timothy Kipnusu opens our coverage tonight with that report.
3 armed bandits allegedly raided the home of one Michael Canary in broad daylight. As they were leading the 32 heads of cattle and 2 sheep they had stolen towards the Laikipia Nature Conservancy, they met 2 men whom they shot and killed on the spot.
Alitokwa nyuma. Kuangalia hivi anaona hii majagiri. Majagiri kumuona walimpiga risasi akaanguka juu ya hiyo mtaro. Hii mahali ilikuwa inashibuliwa hapo juu. Residents say the 3rd victim met his fate as he was fishing at Mbogoini Dam. A 4th man survived the attack but is nursing gunshot wounds. Sasa niko na uchungu, hata ninashindwa, hata nilikuwa ninajiuliza kwa nini mimi nimewashwa. Fadhali ningekufa hiyo mtoto yangu wawashwa, ale watoto yake. Hata sisi tumeshindwa. Kwa maana hata siko ile kuna semekana hata iko operation ikiwa pande hii maana kunja upande ile nyingine.
The bandits later engaged security officers in a shootout several meters from where a multi-agency security team had dug a trench along the Conservancy Road from Wangwachi to Kamwenje.
Sasa tunauliza, kwani sisi tuko nani? Ile Laikipia tunakaa ni yetu. Na kama si yetu, situambie basi tuhame au watuonyeshe pahali tunaweza kaa. Tunasikia kuna operation. Hii hata operation hatuoni, hatusaidiki. Usiku hatulali. The stolen animals were later recovered near the Laikipia Nature Conservancy catline. Residents and local leaders are blaming the escalating crime on what they term as government's hesitancy to restore peace in the troubled region.
Waliuawa wakiwa na shughuli zao za kawaida. Walipigwa mchana wa Mungu jua likiwa angani, wakapigwa wakauawa. Sisi kile ambacho tungependa kusema, tungetaka tupewe usalama hapa kwetu Laikipia. Tumesema hiyo mara si moja.
Sisi kama watu wa Githega, watu wa Laikipia, tunataka kusema serikali ni mbili. Ya wale wanaofuata sheria na wale hawafuati sheria. Na hiyo nitakaa nikisema, unaambia mtu asibebe buduki, anabeba buduki. Unamwambia hesabiwe, anakataa kuhesabiwa.
Over the past 2 months, more than 15 people have been killed. An estimated 400 families displaced from their homes. homes torched and hundreds of livestock in Olmoran and Githiga wards in Laikipia County due to recurrent banditry attacks and cattle rustling. Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has decried the low turnout in the ongoing enhanced continuous voter registration exercise and called for concerted efforts to mobilize eligible voters to register. In the first week of the exercise, only 202,518 people registered as new voters against a weekly target of 1.5 million since the exercise kicked off 7 days ago. In a statement, the Commission Chairperson Wafula Chebukati attributed the low turnout to general voter apathy, insecurity, lack of national identity cards, and the culture of last-minute rush.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has registered 202,518 new voters out of a weekly target of 1.5 million in the last 7 days in the ongoing mass voter registration. Chairman Wafula Chebukati attributed the low turnout largely to voter apathy, lack of identity cards, insecurity in parts of Lamu, Baringo and Laikipia counties, as well as along Kenya-Somalia borders. Chebukati also attributed the low turnout to Kenya's tendency to do things when the deadline is expiring. Chebukati called on all Kenya leaders across the board to go out of their way in assisting the Commission mobilize eligible citizens to register as voters. The registration was, however, suspended in areas with by-elections or legal petitions. IEBC said 7,720 biometric voter registration kits have been distributed to register voters within county assembly wards, 290 constituency, to register university and college students, Huduma centers, and additional kits to vast counties.
Moving on, Deputy President William Samoei Ruto now says corrupt business cartels are controlling the prices of fuel in the country, fleecing Kenyans. Ruto claimed that the unscrupulous businessmen in the petroleum industry are allegedly using the Ministry of Petroleum to manipulate the prices of fuel.
The Deputy President has asked the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining to crush the corruption cartels responsible for the high cost of fuel. Ruto wondered why the cost of petrol in Kenya was higher than in Uganda, a landlocked country that relies on Kenya for imports.
Kwa wale wanaohusika na mambo ya mafuta katika wizara wizara ya mambo ya petroli na mafuta, ile cartel ya ufisadi iko pale, ndio inasababisha bei ya mafuta hapa Kenya kuzidi bei ya mafuta Uganda.
Ruto said with the current skyrocketing fuel prices, there was need to liberalize the petroleum market to cushion Kenyans from greedy profiteers.
The cartel at the Ministry of Petroleum Products must be dismantled for fuel products, their prices to come down. And we expect it to happen yesterday. We do not expect it to continue because there is no reason why fuel products in Kenya are higher.
The Deputy President was speaking on Monday at his current residence when he met grassroots leaders from Kigumo constituency, Murang'a County. Leaders present claimed the cartels roaming the corridors of government have made the cost of living unbearable to most ordinary Kenyans.
Who are the owners of all those independent power producers that have been extorting money from KPLC and from Kenyans?
Makueni Governor Professor Kivutha Kibwana is the best performing governor nationwide in terms of development, while his Kakamega counterpart Wycliffe Oparanya is ranked as the most popular governor. Research conducted by Insights Strategies Solutions Africa placed Nairobi acting governor Anne Kananu at the bottom with a 19.4% development rating.
to specific programs that he has undertaken. Most significantly, there has been the component of universal health care and his involvement, especially of the public in decision making in Makueni. Those are the major distinct issues that the residents of Makueni feel that Professor Kibwana has done very well.
In the research carried out between 7th and 9th of September this year in 47 counties and 290 constituencies, Makueni Governor Kivutha Kibwana topped with an 80% development rating, followed by Mwangi wa Wairia of Murang'a with 73.4%, while Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya is third with 71.3%. Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua is ranked fourth best performing governor with 68.9%, followed by Stephen Sang of Nandi at 67.2% in fifth position. However, when it comes to approval rating, Kibwana dropped to third after Oparanya and Salim Vuria of Kwale.
If there was a substantive governor in Nairobi, then the outcome would be different. Then now, secondly, besides not having a substantive governor, Nairobi has certain functions that were transferred to the national government.
Elsewhere, Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Wairia has criticized meetings being organized by members of the Mount Kenya Foundation with various presidential hopefuls, saying they will have no impact in terms of mobilizing voters in the central region. Wairia downplayed the meeting, saying only Kenyans will determine through the ballot who to lead them.
Wazee wanakaa chini hapa, wanadharau sisi, wanaita watu wanawapatia sturu hapo nje, atuwagojee, kila mtu anaitwa next, next, next. Mimi naungana na wale wote bila kujali vyama vyao na ideolojia zao ambao wanasema kwamba kiti cha urais wa taifa la Kenya kitapeanwa na mwananchi wa kawaida.
He was speaking on Monday while giving out bursaries to needy students from the county at Ihura Stadium in Murang'a town. In Kisii, Dagoretti North Member of Parliament Simba Arati has dismissed the bottom-up economic model championed by Deputy President William Ruto.
Hatuwezi kubali biashara ya kubeba kwa wheelbarrow. Sisi ni watoto wetu wamesoma, wameenda mbali na kila mtu anatia bidii.
Speaking at Nyacheki ward in Bobasi constituency where he opened an ODM office, Arati said communities living in Nyanza region are too industrious for that economic approach. Leaders present urged youths to take advantage of the current mass voter registration exercise to register as voters. Narok North Member of Parliament Moitalel Olekenta says local leaders will soon unveil their preferred gubernatorial hopeful in the area.
And they will not surrender Mau, even an inch, will not surrender Mara, and will not surrender Maasai leadership anymore.
Kenta said the Ma community will remain united despite a section of leaders who he alleges are out to divide them ahead of next year's polls. Kenta claimed there were plans by some leaders to import voters from neighboring counties to influence next year's gubernatorial race in Narok County.
Tia Narok West na Narok South. Ndio waweze kuchukua kucontrol Masai Mara na control Mau Forest, ndio warudisha wale watu ambao walitolewa.
Naomba wa Masai tuwe kitu kimoja kama wale wengine vile wamefanya. Msigawanywe ati huyu ni Muitanik, wewe ni Syria, wewe ni Wasingishu, wewe ni Purko, wewe ni Damat, wewe ni nani. Sisi ni watu wa Ma.
For Prime Edition, I'm Ben Troinjwe.
President Uhuru Kenyatta is in New York for a 2-day visit of the United States, where he is scheduled to chair a United Nations Security Council high-level open debate on diversity, state building, as well as peace. Kenya assumed the presidency of the Council in the month of October after securing the position of a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council on the 1st of January this year for a 2-year period. Kamche Menza brings us that report.
According to Kenya's permanent representative to the United Nations, Martin Kimani, Kenya's overriding agenda at the UN Security Council is to offer ideas and solutions to global peace and security in areas such as the Horn of Africa and the troubled Sahel region.
That is certain to be a meeting that will touch on the pressing challenges in peace and security being experienced globally, how the global community is responding to COVID-19 and Kenya's proposals on a better way forward for the global community.
Alongside his engagement at the UNSC, the head of state is scheduled to hold bilateral talks with the UN Security General Antonio Guterres and witness the signing of a trade agreement between Kenya's private sector and a consortium of American companies during his tour.
Engage the Security Council by chairing a high-level open debate on diversity, state building, and the search for peace. This will be a historic event where the president gets to lead a conversation that is sorely needed in today's world. And that is a conversation on how to build cohesion, inclusivity into the way states operate so as to maintain peace.
On the business agreement, Ambassador Kimani said President Kenyatta will witness the signing of a new initiative between the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, KEPSA, and the Corporate Council on Africa, the largest umbrella body of U.S. companies operating in Africa. The agreement seeks to enhance collaboration between Kenyan companies, especially the small and medium enterprises, with the American counterparts in a deliberate government effort to create more jobs and employment opportunities for Kenya's youth.
Elsewhere, One Kenya Alliance principals have urged Kenyans to register as voters to enable or to be able to participate in the next year's general election and ensure the alliance forms the next government. Speaking in various stopovers in Makueni County, the alliance principals Musalia Mudavadi of Amani National Congress, Kalonzo Musyoka of Wiper Party, Moses Wetangula of Ford Kenya, and Cyrus Jirongo of UDA said the country can only get good leaders if the public participates in the election process. The principals said they will stick together and ensure one of them forms the next government.
Asanta andugu kuyune mwiga mustalini ni yetu marudufu na lazima tuwatunze. Mheshimiwa Kemeni
kuna na serikali lakini haiaminiki. Sisi tunataka tuwe na serikali na viongozi ambao wataaminika. Na ndio kwa sababu tunasema mchukue kura na mchague viongozi ambao mtaamini.
Mchukue kura kwa wingi. Wingi ya kura ya watu wa Ukambani ndio itakuwa sauti yenu Kenya hii. Kwa hivyo msiwache mtu hata mmoja nyumbani. Mchukue kura, msimame imara.
Ndugu zetu, sisi tumeungana, tunataka nguvu yenu. Na nguvu yenu iwe demonstrated tarehe 14.
And away from politics, radio presenters at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, vernacular stations Monday morning unanimously adorned traditional attire in observing the Utamaduni Day. Messages of preserving and conserving Kenyans' diverse as well as rich cultures dominated the airwaves as the presenters challenged the youth to embrace their cultures. Elders from different cultures invited into the studios also had an opportunity to talk to the listeners about the importance of culture, saying that it helps to form the structure and foundation of our society. Kenya is observing its first Utamaduni Day after it was officially declared by the government in a move to promote national unity, cohesion, and economic progress.
So le Kenya basi dani katukul na ibeta na ko kwa klang lor masai nagira na romon bo kinno tumitonano sim kuna sai yenka Kenya.
Kwa vijana wanajaribu kuacha utamaduni, lakini kwa mama zetu, nyanya zetu, mababu zetu yani, wanajaribu kutusisitizia tusiwache.
Tumeweza kuongea na wasikilizaji, tumeambia kwamba mtu ambaye anaacha mila ni amepotea, ni mtumwa, kwa sababu lazima visasi vijavyo vijue kwamba katika Uluya tulikuwa na mila fulani.
Tumekuwa na wazee wa kitambo kidogo wenye walikuja kuhamasisha Wamasai na kutukumbusha pia ama kukumbusha wasikilizaji wetu mambo ya culture.
Ndio kuna kukopa hapa na pale. Ustaarabu ni kwamba tuchukue yale mazuri ambayo yanakuja na mzungu, lakini pia tujue kwamba tulikuwa na yetu mazuri.
And Utamaduni Day, celebrated for the first time this year, encourages Kenyans to embrace their diverse cultures. The over 40 tribes present rich cultures and traditions. However, these cultures that give us our unique identities are facing a major threat from westernization and general gaps, Yusuf Farah reports.
The public holiday is set aside on the 10th of October each year to celebrate the country's rich cultural diversity and heritage. Until 2020, this day will see the country celebrate and honor the late former Kenyan President Daniel Arap Moi. It was then changed to Huduma Day and finally Utamaduni Day in December 2020. The elderly in Kiambaa, however, are of the opinion that cultures that gave us our unique identities have been abandoned for the modern life by the youth.
Babu zetu ndio walikuwa wakiongoza familia, na jambo lolote likitokea wao ndio walikuwa wanaulizwa vile itakavyoendelea. Kuja polepole hivi ikawa si lazima kuuliza mzee pale.
The youth on their side feel that they have not had a chance to learn from their elderly and community, hence the generational cultural void.
Jui sababu sijaelezewa na wale wakubwa wangu, wale wazee. Kwanza kama sisi wa Kikuyu hatujaifunzwa, tunajulia tu huku juu.
We get a few cents from this lady in Mombasa donning her traditional attire on what ought to be done going forward to see this holiday get the much recognition it should be accorded in line with the original intent.
Utamaduni wetu ulifanywa na mababu zetu, ndio tunafaa kuufuata, na pia tukishaufuata the generation zetu, sasa watoto wetu na wajukuu wetu tuwafundishe. Kulikuwa na nguo za kimatamaduni, sasa hiyo ni kama tumeisahau, na sisi ndio tutakuwa na makosa kwa sababu hatukufundisha watoto wetu.
Ilikuwa ni watu wanapika kienyeji, watoto wanaona hii ni maragwe, hii ni ndoma, ndio unajua kumbe hiyo ni chakula yetu utamaduni. Sasa utakuta chapati ilikuwa wapi huko ndalo wakati hiyo, utakuta chips.
In Homa Bay, Christopher Odhiambo blames the Western culture for eroding and creating disconnect between the African culture and the youth.
Unaweza angalia penye mvua ilianza kupiga hapo. Tuangalie tumepoteza sehemu gani ili turekebisha sehemu zenye tumepoteza hizo culture zetu.
Bernard Muda, however, says there is still more to celebrate about our African culture.
It used to inculcate a lot of things. It used to teach the youth about the norms of the society and good morals. That is no longer there, because they tend to kind of want to associate with the what we call with the socialites, who exactly may not be emulating what people want in the society.
The government has been called upon to play a more important role in creating awareness on this national holiday.
Sisi tunataka siku ya utamaduni. Mombasa County ile na utamaduni yao. Kila county alafu ndio watoto wanajua kumbe wasee hawa walikuwa wanafanya namna hii. Lakini sasa tunaonyesha watoto nini? Kukaa ndani ya nyumba na kuangalia TV.
Yusuf Farah reporting for Prime Edition.
Well, that story on culture brings us to our first break.
And I'm sure it will be the wrong person. I'll be asking this question to the wrong person. If I say whether you still embrace your culture, of course, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, culture, it's like a tree, you know, with its roots. So, yeah, me and my culture.
You and your culture, me and my culture as well. All right, let's take the first commercial break. Remember, we are live on all our social media platforms. Keep tweeting at KBC Channel One News. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Kupata sikiza tune hii ya Kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#.
Hadi umefanya vizuri sana kunipigia hii simu sasa. Nimekuwa na stress kutoka asubuhi kabisa. Na ni huyu mtu ambaye alikuwa anapatiana majina ya vitu. Kwani hakutufikiria sisi watu wa Eastern Ukambani? Ni nani alisema ati wife kwa Kiswahili ni mke? Na akasema ati handbaka. Hii inabebwa na mwanamke handbaka. Ati kwa Kiswahili ni kibeti. Huku kwetu mke ndiye kibeti.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hiyo ya Kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#. *811*962#.
Holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority on or before November 1st, 2021. It is now easier to report and surrender. Visit www.holders.ufaa.go.ke and get started. Beat the November 1st, 2021 deadline. It's your turn. Pass the baton. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority.
As you wish.
If the Emperor and her have a falling out, we may just have a second chance.
Shut up! Regardless of genders, she treats people. When did that become a crime to you?
I just wanted to help people. Those commissioners don't even know me.
You keep messing around. I can always resume my previous duties.
You're watching KBC Prime.
Welcome back.
Now, over 600 families in Magarini, Kilifi County will benefit from a 34 million shilling irrigation project that is expected to cushion them from the ongoing drought affecting parts of the country. The project, funded by the Coast Development Authority, CDA, is expected to make this area food secure. Here's the report.
Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata, who officially commissioned the project upon its completion, said it will go a long way in cushioning locals from perennial food insecurity in the area. Coast Development Authority Managing Director Mohamed Kainan said the project was to encourage farmers to practice agribusiness. Meanwhile, farmers have been urged to engage agricultural extension officers to inform their investments. The commercial manager for Yara East Africa in Lower Eastern Kenya, Stephen Mburu, said new technologies in science can boost production.
We are bringing also an application that will help us interact with you and help you from end to end. So when you're planting, we walk that journey with you. Available when we are available, of course, physically, but also we have a very continuous touch with you through the growing period.
Siku ya leo tuko na uzinduzi baina ya Yara East Africa na Koteva, kwa sababu kuko na project yenye inafikia wakulima, yenye itasaidia wakulima kuhakikisha ya kwamba wanapata vitu kwa shamba zenye wanaweza tumia mbolea na mbegu ya kupandia yenye watapata na bei mzuri.
He was speaking during the launch of a micronutrient fertilizer, Yara Microp, targeting to improve maize yields in the Lower Eastern region.
Naambia wakulima ya kwamba tumeleta inputs ama products ambazo zitawasaidia kuongeza mazao. Tunaleta inputs ambazo zitawasaidia kupunguza gharama ya ukulima ili waweze kusaidika ama kutengeneza faida zaidi ya hapo awali.
Mimi ni mkulima na nimetumia fertilizer hii ya Yara wakati mrefu, kwa sababu nilianzia wakati walianza na ile walikuwa naita power,
na nikaitumia nikaona vile imefanya vizuri.
A number of pupils in the popular Korogosho slums benefited from donations from Qatar Airways and Qatar Charity as schools reopened on Tuesday. The two organizations saying the gesture is part of the program to assist families adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and have been deprived of livelihoods.
Our heroes and heroines.
The donations by Qatar Airways and Qatar Charity Kenya included education materials and comes a day before schools resume learning for second term Tuesday.
We have seen here a lot of students, they cannot get school uniforms because of corona, because of a lot of challenges, in our country here.
We are delighted to be part of the event today and partner Qatar Charity, supporting the children, providing them with all the tools and the needs to thrive and grow in their future education.
Speaking at Tranquility Integrated Academy, Qatar Airways Regional Manager East Africa Fadi Zuraika and his Qatar Charity Kenya counterpart Abdullahi Hassan said the initiative is meant to support children in slums to access education unhindered.
Qatar Airways supports education in different initiatives. So Qatar Airways supports the Educated Student Program, which is a global program as well. And it significantly reduced the number of children worldwide that were denied from the tools and the education needs they should have.
This project, we are aiming we are targeting above 1,500 in this year. So this is the first phase, and second phase will be after 2 weeks.
The two institutions pledging to support government in ensuring those from deprived backgrounds also get quality education. Meanwhile, over 100 teenage girls from 5 slums in Nakuru County have benefited from free digital skills to better their future. The program, coordinated by the Young African Women Initiative Chief Executive Director Fidelis Karanja Wambui, seeks to equip girls with digital skills in the bid to make them help fight teenage pregnancy, radicalization and online abuse.
And it has been very effective. We have artists, we have people who can compose very nice songs, and even people who are able to use the digital platforms to tell their good stories. So they are not from urban or middle class, but they are from slum areas, and that is where we target the girls from those places.
There's an item here in education. The Ministry of Education has challenged parents and guardians to embrace their role in their children's academic affairs. Education Chief Administrative Secretary Sarah Ruto says that parents have a responsibility to take the lead in the learning process of their children. Here is that report.
Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Sarah Ruto, is calling for vibrant engagement between schools, management and parents to facilitate an ideal learning environment for children.
You cannot talk about it without values, and that is why the value-based education, that is one of the pillars of CBC, is very critical. And who is best to give guidance to value-based education if not you?
The CAS challenging parents and guardians to be actively involved in the academic affairs of their learners as guided by teachers.
That learners can only reach their full potential when they are provided with holistic, wholesome education that focuses on their physical, social, cognitive and emotional growth and not just their academic skills.
Similar sentiments were shared by the Anglican Church of Kenya Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit, who faulted a section of parents for burdening teachers.
Can we have a program that follows them with the Bible so that we find a way of building a value-based understanding of who God is in their lives, but also to address current challenges that are affecting especially our teens.
Ole Sapit at the same time calling on the government to be considerate and allow parents time to pay school fees. Learners have been home for 11 days and are expected back in school for the second term from Tuesday. According to the 2021-2022 academic calendar year, the second term will run from Tuesday, October 12th to December 23rd, when schools close for the Christmas holidays. Term 3 begins on January 3rd, 2022 to March 4th, 2022, and thereafter the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education and Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examinations will be held.
Elsewhere, leaders from Kenya joined their counterparts from South Sudan in Kapweta, Eastern Equatorial State, for the burial of Ben Lokale in a bid to calm cross-border hostility along the Kenya-South Sudan border. The leaders supporting calls for peaceful coexistence between the two communities owing to a shared ancestral heritage despite the cross-border differences.
We want to pursue the route of peace. We want to take leadership as two countries, to encourage our people to be peaceful, to coexist together, to share the natural resources that are available within this region. And recently we become members of the East African Community. So my appeal to the Turkana, to the Toposa, and to the Ataker in general is to be peaceful and to harness the opportunity and the resources that are available within this region.
I want to say this to our governments, both in Kenya or in Uganda or in South Sudan. I'm hearing there are people who continue being harmed. We don't need armament. We don't need our people to be armed. We need our people to be disarmed. And I want to talk to my message to the leaders of Turkana. This question of people called KPR, whom we are still giving arms, people who are not trained well. This arm can continue to bring insecurity.
Now, Information, Communication and Technology Chief Administrative Secretary Nadia Abdallah is urging parents to allow young girls pursue their dreams. Nadia, who was speaking here in Nairobi, said that the government has put in place elaborate policies to ensure that the girl child is not hindered in a quest for a better future.
Speaking when she led a group of young girls in marking the International Day of the Girl Child, Nadia said the government has opened all available avenues for young people to advance their skills and knowledge, and young girls must rise to the occasion.
It was very important for me in my capacity as the CAS in the Ministry of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs, but also as a girl child, to come and celebrate with these young ladies and to really remind them of the importance of really not giving up despite the challenges that they are in the different backgrounds that they are from.
She challenged young girls to leverage on technology that has opened up the world and look beyond their confines for a better future.
The theme for this year's International Day of the Girl Child is Digital Generation, Our Generation. This tries to highlight the fact that for everybody, whether male or female, to achieve their full potential, technology has become an enabler. However, we do know that access to technology also has a gender divide, and also the insecurities that we find in the cyberspace affects young women, especially girls, a lot more.
While in Mandera, the County Director for Gender and Social Services, Habiba Abdi, said the administration in the area has dispatched social service officers to provide child support in curbing gender-based violence and female genital mutilation-related cases. Habiba says the county is keen on protecting the rights to young girls and afford them an opportunity to compete on equal footing with the rest of Kenya.
From the gender office, we are telling the girls that you are able, you can make it like the boys. You can do whatever they can do. You can go higher. The sky is the limit for them. they can get educated to the highest level. They can become whoever they want to become as long as they put their mind at it.
The pandemic update here in Kenya. 96 people have tested positive for COVID-19 from a sample size of 3,702 screened in the last 24 hours. The youngest patient is a 2-year-old, while the oldest is 86 years old. Statistics from the Ministry of Health show that positivity rate is now at 2.6%, while the total confirmed cases are at 251,248. In the last 1 day, 293 patients have recovered, pushing their total recoveries to 244,237. So far, a total of 5,190 people have lost the fight, and they include 9 recorded as late deaths from facility audit reports in the months of September and October. As of Sunday, 198 million vaccines have been administered in the country. Globally, more than 237.9 million people have been infected, while the death toll is now at 4.8 million, according to the data by the Johns Hopkins University. For more news, there was drama at Yuko's area of Kitengela after a speeding water browser killed 15 sheep that were crossing the Nairobi-Namanga Road. The accident saw several herdsmen from Isinya town throng the scene seeking to torch the lorry. This is among stories making headlines in the counties.
Incidents of hit and run on domestic animals along the Nairobi-Namanga have been rampant. According to an eyewitness, other motorists had slowed down to allow the herds cross, but suddenly a speeding water bowser crashed the sheep.
Wenzetu ambao wanaendesha malori za maji wanakuanga na ujeuri sana. Hata hivi majuzi hapa karibu Muigai kuna jamaa na karibu anagonge pale.
And Nairobi women representative Esther Passaris has urged city residents to come out in large numbers and receive free eye checkup from a team of doctors currently undertaking the exercise. Speaking at Museo Health Center, Passaris said cataract has affected many, yet it can be cured.
Please take them to the Kayole Soweto dispensary tomorrow for screening, and also take them to Mukuru kwa Ruben so that the dispensary, so that they can all be screened and booked for surgery if they are cataract patients. I mean, you go from 1 day of not seeing to the next day seeing.
Our mission to transform the life of a people, that's the reason that we always support this initiative, great initiatives.
Especially during the pandemic, because it's very difficult for underprivileged Kenyans, those who don't have access to healthcare, those who find it very difficult to get free healthcare in Nairobi, to access the health facilities.
Meanwhile, residents of Nyaribari Churchill of Kisii have benefited from a free dental clinic. The clinic targeted those who cannot afford medication due to harsh economic times.
The problems is oral hygiene, and that is why they get more problems.
Dawa wale ambao tu kutolewa meno tumepewa tarehe ya kwenda kutolewa na pia tumeridhika.
On girls sensing technology and
elsewhere, Sabrina Chepkemoi and Marietta Halima of St. Thomas Girls Secondary School in Kilifi County have been crowned Young Scientists of the Year for the best innovation at the 2021 Young Scientists Kenya National Science and Technology Exhibition. The two winners received 50,000 shillings each, plus full scholarships at Strathmore University.
We were able to come up with a breathalyzer, which I believe will help to solve the major problem in our society.
Remember, the nasal swabs, we are not producing them ourselves. They are being imported. And therefore, we know that they are very scarce in supply. And not forget, they are expensive. So the government is having a problem in availing adequate medical kits.
Finally, a family in Kiambu County may lose their land over a 2 million hospital bill left by their late 79-year-old kinsman who succumbed to COVID-19 a month ago. The widow Susan Gadhungu is pleading with the government to come to her rescue before the hospital takes over the land.
Hii saba ikiuzwa sijui naenda wapi. Sina kitu ingine, hata hakuna mahali ingine tunaenda, tunakaa tu hapa. Akataso manasema hawezi kupatiwa mwili bila kulipa hiyo bilu. Sema masaidie tu nikuwe na samba na mzee yangu nimuzike kwa samba yake.
For Prime Edition, I'm Ruth Wamboi.
On the global front, the Ugandan government has withdrawn treason charges against opposition leader Kizza Besigye. Elsewhere in the Burkina Faso, the trial of 14 men accused of killing former President Thomas Isidore Sankara 34 years ago has begun. This and more stories in our international news roundup.
In Kampala, Ugandan government has withdrawn treason charges against opposition leader Kizza Besigye. The four-time presidential candidate was arrested and charged with treason in 2016 for staging a ceremony at which he declared himself president following that year's general election. Besigye is a fierce critique of President Yoweri Museveni's 35-year rule. Elsewhere, in Burkina Faso, 14 men accused of killing former President Thomas Sankara 34 years ago are on trial. Sankara was shot dead during a coup in October 1987, which saw his friend Blaise Compaoré take over power. In April this year, a military tribunal accused Compaoré and 13 others of involvement in the killing. He is exiled in Ivory Coast, denies guilt and refuses to stand trial in person. And more than 1.76 million people have been affected by severe flooding in China's northern Shanxi province. More than 300 people have been urgently transferred. Torrential rain last week led to houses collapsing and triggered landslides across more than 70 districts and cities in the province. The flooding comes less than 3 months after extreme rains in Henan province that left more than 300 people dead. Finally, the Australian city of Sydney has emerged from lockdown after almost 4 months. The state of New South Wales has passed its 70% vaccination target, resulting in Sydney easing its 107-day lockdown, with locals celebrating a range of new freedom. Non-essential shops, restaurants, bars, hair and beauty salons have reopened after being forced shut for almost 4 months. Sydney's lockdown began in late June after a Delta variant outbreak took hold, leading to over 50,000 infections and 439 deaths so far.
Commendable. We still have room for gaining ground. So we'll take a break.
When we return, Karen Kibet is on standby with the latest sports news. Stay tuned.
Left side of the street. Moves are
Nipige kibao. Wajua nilikuwa niko karibu tu kupatana na Leo.
Yeye nifuata na hisi yote kunimaliza kabisa.
Watoto dadangu hata sijui kama ni wake.
Umaanisha nini?
Huoni kwamba wakati umefika wa kuungana na mimi? Umemwambia nini babako ulipoongea naye?
Nothing.
Ana?
Income. Piki inaendelea hapa.
Haijalishi kinachoendelea.
Welcome back. I do hope your evening is treating you well. Happy Utamaduni Day. It's now time for us to take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, Kenyan athletes continued their sparkling performance and put the country in glory after emerging victorious in this year's Boston Marathon. Diana Chemutai Kipkosgei and Benson Kipruto were today crowned women and men's champions respectively. Kipruto timed 2 hours, 9 minutes and 51 seconds, while Chemutai clocked 2 hours, 24 minutes and 50 seconds. Another Kenyan, Edna Kiplagat, finished in the second position, timing 2 hours, 25 minutes and 20 seconds.
He's got about 2 blocks left to go.
He says his favorite workout is the long run because of the mental flow. You see him move to the left side of the street. The left side of the street today reserved for the winners. All the other winners finish on the right.
And I know that Guy Morris is one of the tape holders.
He says on a perfect run, it's as if the body moves without any effort. His moves are strong and fluid. He puts in the kick with the last steps. Benson Kipruto, the winner of the 2021 Boston Marathon.
2:09:52 unofficially.
Step back and look at it. It's a really great example that when hardness hit during this pandemic, the right athletes hunkered down. They put in the work necessary, even though they went through the same challenges the rest of us did.
And for so many of them, drawing energy from one another and from competition with all of that missing, it forces you to set different goals, to pace yourself in a different way.
And as we commentate here, the helicopters are flying overhead. The lights of the police escorts are coming down the street. Diane Kipyogi on her finishing stretch.
Passing the Lenox Hotel in the final block of her race.
With 2 career marathons behind her before today, Diane Kipyogi from Kenya about to break the tape. Your women's winner in the 2021 Boston Marathon, Diane Kipyogi of Kenya.
2:24:50 unofficial.
Congratulations. It's not Diana Kipyogi, it's Diana Chemutai. Congratulations once again to Diana and Benson. Moving on, over 50 residents of Uriri constituency, Migori County, have qualified to be referees after a 5-day training exercise that took place at Uriri High School. The exercise was organized by Football Kenya Federation.
The Uriri Constituency Football Kenya Federation FKF coaching clinic attracted 6 ladies while 44 were men. The Class 3 National Referees course was conducted by Football Kenya Federation FKF in collaboration with Uriri Member of Parliament Mark Nyamita.
To persevere, to be here for 5 days with no pay, they have left their other jobs. For me, it is an indication of passion that they are looking forward to build a career out of this one. Most importantly, why we are doing this is we are trying to capacity build at the bottom of the base, so that these young men and women can also make a career out of this.
I've come out as a referee now. I'm a qualified referee and I can now start practicing. I can't wait to start officiating.
The training clinic is part of FKF's project of having well-trained and qualified referees from grassroots levels. Elsewhere, a 5-day physical and technical training for elite FIFA referees commenced at Kericho Green Stadium. That training is part of routine program in partnership between Football Kenya Federation and FIFA with an objective of developing the referees.
At the present moment, we are extremely happy with the performance of the Kenyan referees. Very soon they will be going to some to Qatar, some to Morocco. They've got a Champions League game. So really, that doesn't come when referees are not doing well.
We have reached a stage in terms of developing our referees where the FIFA are focused on our referees.
That is on, and that's why the exercise was so important to us, because it will enable us to do our task.
Frederick Muki for Prime Edition.
Thank you, Moki, for that report. Moving on, Harambee Stars head coach Engin Firat has apologized to Kenyan football fans after the Stars lost by a solitary goal to Mali in a World Cup qualifier match that was played on Sunday evening in Nairobi. The loss dimmed Stars' hopes of finishing in the top position in Group E and advance to the third round of the qualifiers.
The Stars came into the match aiming to get back to winning ways after humiliating 5-0 loss to Eagles of Mali in the first leg. It was a disappointing experience for the Stars, losing by a solitary goal at home ground. Coach Engin Firat has apologized to Kenyan football fans following the home loss.
African teams qualified to World Cup. What happens? They go directly out. Yes or no? In the last tournaments. So, if you have this kind of referees, then you go easy to World Cup. But in World Cup you don't have these referees. This is something about African football. But to come to this point here, why I should blame anyone? The boys did everything what they want. We played good football. We had so many goal chances. It's unbelievable. For me it's unbelievable how we cannot score. This is the problem. And there we come to a base. You live in Kenya always the day.
Mali top Group E with 10 points, 2 ahead of Uganda, who have 8 following their 1-0 win over Rwanda, while Kenya and Rwanda occupy the 3rd and 4th positions with 2 and 1 point respectively. The Stars will next be in action next month with matches against Uganda and Rwanda. Frederick Muki for Prime Edition.
Now, close to 200 participants featured in the first edition of the Eldoret Roller Skating Championship that was geared towards promoting talent development and youth empowerment. The championship featured a half marathon too for boys and girls under the age of 18. Joseph Mururi won the boys half marathon, while Aurelia Faith emerged victorious in the girls category. Some skating clubs that featured in the championship include, among others, Siaya Power Skaters, Kericho Moz Fame Skaters and Bungoma Skaters.
The hills were not that simple, but the way I've been training, I expected much with my training partner here. Yeah, so we expect obvious to win.
Most of you mnajua skating haijajulikana around Kenya, so we are here to bring up this sport and to be known and recognized as one of the international sports in around Kenya.
In Uasin Gishu, we have always been told that Uasin Gishu is a county of athletics, but we thought that we should introduce something very different because we want diversity, because diversity is our strength.
And finally, Anibal Godoy's solitary goal helped Panama win their first World Cup qualifying match against USA in Panama City last night in CONCACAF qualifying for the 2022 World Cup. With a surprising loss, the pressure is on for the Americans to avoid dropping points on Wednesday when they play Costa Rica. Meanwhile, Argentina hammered Uruguay 3-0.
Martinez making the little run into the penalty area. Gonzalez couldn't get on the end of it. It's gone in. Argentina in front. Martinez, it might fall here, but De Paul. Rodrigo De Paul doubles. De Paul, the little ball in and turned in from close range. Lautaro Martinez makes it 3-0 to Argentina.
And that's all we had for you right here, the KBC Sports Desk News. Let's do this all over again tomorrow, same time, same place. Do have yourself a lovely evening. My name is Karen Kibet, but the broadcast is not yet over, as I do hand you back to Tom and Purity.
Thank you very much, Karen Kibet. Well, it's now time to wrap up the bulletin. Thank you so much for making time to be with us, and we trust that the last 1 hour or so was worth your while. Thank you for watching. My name is Mboya.
And thank you so much for keeping it interactive. A lot of your feedback on Twitter. Adams Kalu Kenya tuned in from Gataka, Ongata Rongai with your family. Happy to see us. Thank you so much. Joseph Mbiwa tuned in from, I think you wanted to say Machakos. And then we have Churu Dennis. You are watching from Geria, Eldoret. Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you again tomorrow. Same place from 9 p.m. I'm Purity Museo. Susan Thilku has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Stay safe and God bless.
Thank you. I'm Mboya. Good night.